everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Now today I have something a bit different. I'm going to be taking a political compass test again. I found this one and I was like, hey, that could be fun. How liberal or conservative am I? So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the test and we're going to take it and we're going to find out if I'm a liberal or a conservative. Now I honestly, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know which way they're meaning. I don't know if they're talking about the more modern definition of it, or if they're talking about like classical liberals, classical conservatism, stuff like that. Because I'm obviously more classically liberal. I'm not a modern liberal, if that's what they're referring to. I'm not a neoliberal. So we'll see what we'll see the idea behind it. But let's go ahead and start. So the first thing we need to get through is, which of these past presidents do you like best? Well, I think it's pretty easy because I don't like FDR. I don't know of any libertarians who like FDR. He was inherently anti-libertarian in pretty much every single thing he did, and how he decided to trample the Constitution over and over and over. So, let's go ahead and go with Reagan. I think he was a pretty good president. So let's hit next and see what we get next. Are you a registered Democrat or a Republican? I wish I knew. I really do. I really wish I knew, but I don't. I'm just going to put this one because I don't think I'm a registered Republican. I think I'm registered under Libertarian. I don't know. I'm not even sure how politics work. I don't know if I voted. The Democrats probably do because they were probably the ones putting my vote into the system. But who knows? Continuing on, let's just go with that for now. What is your stance on abortion? Well, I'm against abortion except in cases where the mother's life is at risk. I mean, I think that's the obvious thing, is you can't force someone to give up their own life for someone else. I think that's where it ends, obviously. So continuing on. Who are you planning on voting for this presidential election? Now, this is an old test, but I'm voting for Trump. I think he was a much better president than Biden, and I think no matter what you think about the guy, most of his policies were decently acceptable under a libertarian premise, at least compared to what we've had literally every other time we get a president. So continuing on. What is your stance on LGBT rights? Well, I'm fully supportive, but I don't really care. I think that's a good point. I don't care. I could care less. You do what you want. Shoo. This isn't even, an effect. Obviously, I guess that's why the test is liberal or conservative. But for me, that's not even a reason, something people should take into consideration of how supportive they are or not, because it doesn't matter if you're supportive or not. All that matters is if people should be allowed to do it, and they should. So, continuing on. What issue is most important to you? The economy, without a doubt. Continuing on. What is your go-to news source? Vox. No, I'm just kidding. It's not Vox. I'm not for sure because none of these sites are my go-to news source. If I had to choose this between Fox and Breitbart though, because I hate Vox. Let's go ahead and go with Breitbart because I feel like that's slightly more accurate. Because I don't use Fox News. I've never used Fox News. I don't use Breitbart usually either, but I can visit their website, I guess. So that's a bit more accurate than Fox. I'm not for sure. Continuing on. What do you think about how COVID is being handled? Oh, this is fun. I think this is the best one to describe my position. I don't think it's a hoax. I think that's very... It's left up to interpretation. If you like hoax, how do you interpret that? Does it mean it's not real, etc.? Or do you just think it's completely blown out of proportion by the government? But I'm going to go with this one because I think the economy is the paramount problem, which people fail to realize, is that the economy and ethical situations, ethical policies should be more acceptable than how we deal with the pandemic. So continuing on. Who is your favorite nominee during the 2016 primaries? Let's just go with Trump, because back then I didn't know quite as much about politics, so I wasn't paying attention, so he probably was my favorite, I believe. Continuing on, what do you think of Trump? Okay, I'm gonna tell you one problem I have with this test. Is that they don't really have any more meta answers. This is all very straightforward. It's like, I love him or I hate him, or, I thought. So I'm going to put this one because I think that's as close to accurate for me as it is. I think it would be somewhere between this one and this one. I think he's actually a very good president, or was for the most part a very good president. But I don't love the guy. I think that's just a bit fanatical, almost, of an answer. So let's go ahead and submit it, see where I am, and yeah, let's see. So it's calculating our result. We're almost done, and we're going to get the result. I don't know what's doing at this point. I am 80% conservative and 20% liberal. Your political beliefs are far right. You're excited about voting for Trump, and you believe strongly in creating a more conservative America. Yeah, no, not really. It's funny because if you asked any single person on the video I did about Fuentes a while back, they would tell you I am most definitely not a conservative. But I am assuming they're meaning more like the modern definition of it. So I'd say that's a bit more accurate because I'm definitely not a neoliberal. So yeah, I think it was pretty fun. The questions are always funner than the results on these tests. If we're being honest with ourselves, that's really all there is questions over the results. Questions are just so much more fun. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.